Welcome back, everyone, to the deep dive. Today, we're taking a really compelling family case study from Fu Yang Kung Kane. And we're going deep. This isn't just, telling a story. It's more of a profound look into this, intricate web of cause and effect across multiple lives. Okay, let's unpack this.
Yeah, absolutely. And our goal here for you listening is to really pull out more than just the sequence of events. We want to get at the insights, how past actions, present choices, they don't just shape one person's destiny. They weave these surprising, really intricate connections through whole generations. What's truly fascinating, I think, is how clearly we can actually trace the impact. Even small things, good or bad, rippling through time. It's undeniable.
That's exactly it. It's what makes this family story so, well, captivating. So we're starting with the father, the patriarch. He was a farmer, rice and vegetables. But the sources paint this picture of real hardship. He relied heavily on hunting local animals. We're talking crabs, fish, frogs, even turtles, just to get food on the table.
Right. Basic survival needs driving these actions.
Exactly. And the details are pretty vivid. It says he killed fish and turtles with a sharp knife, literally slicing open their shells to get the meat. And on top of that, this habit of eating raw meat, raw beef and buffalo meat, often, it seems, with alcohol. It's quite a picture. You imagine the conditions.
It really is.
And this brings us to that big question, doesn't it? Consequences. What do the sources actually say about the immediate karmic results of a life like that?
Well, it's a powerful illustration, this case, how actions that inflict suffering, especially on living beings, they can create these immediate and pretty severe karmic debts, things that dramatically alter the spiritual path. The sources connect these specific actions, the killing, the raw meat, the alcohol, directly to his diagnosis. At just 42 years old, he got severe liver cancer.
Wow, 42, that's young.
Very young. And he battled it for 5 really tough months, hit the final stage. And here's where you really see the desperation. Just before he died, and villagers suggested this Gecko doctor ritual.
A gecko doctor.
Yeah. It involved feeding him 3 live geckos. His own daughter actually gave him one. Just a desperate last attempt. But tragically, it didn't work.
Oh, that's heartbreaking to even imagine. And the sources describe his final moments. They do. Crying out, apparently, writhing in agonizing pain. It sounds like a really difficult end. So what happens then after a life like that, according to the teachings?
The karmic outcome, the sources say, was immediate and stark. Right after death, he descended into what's described as the 5th great hell.
The 5th?
Yes. Because of the alcohol consumption and, crucially, the killing of animals for food. He's described as suffering immensely right now and can't yet receive any merit transferred from the living. It's not just like direct payback. It's a stark reminder of how these ingrained habits, taking life, intoxicants, can just immediately determine where you go next, sometimes overshadowing other good deeds, at least initially.
That's intense. Okay, so moving from the father's really stark lessons, we find this interesting contrast with the mother. The sources describe her as, well, very talkative, even critical, often scolding her kids quite harshly.
Harsh words.
Yeah. But despite this, she was also incredibly devout, really consistent with good deeds, offering alms every morning, observing Upotatha, that special day of observance at the temple, regularly. So how do we square that, these contradictory parts of her personality?
That's a really key point, and it shows the complexity, doesn't it, of karma. Her harsh speech, the sources explain it as new karma, stuff she was creating right then. But it was also, interestingly, a way for her children's old karma to manifest. Karma they created themselves from using harsh words in the past.
Ah, so it's playing out on both sides.
Exactly, a complex interplay. Her current negative actions were linked to their past actions, sort of providing the stage for their own karma to ripen. It shows that, yeah, negative speech creates new problems for the speaker, but it can also be the way others experience the results of their own past words.
That's fascinatingly intricate. Okay, so her journey takes another turn. In 2048, she develops cataracts, vision gets really blurry, and even surgery doesn't fix it. But then her daughter suggests something pretty unusual. Watch Dhamma TV, check and write daily, and sincerely pray for healing. So what's the karmic backstory for the eye problems, and how could watching TV and praying actually work?
Okay, the origin of the cataracts, according to the sources, is quite specific. In past lives, she apparently often looked at others with ill will. Harsh eyes, judging glances, even that thing where you smile but your eyes are scolding someone.
I know that look.
Right. That, combined with karma from keeping live animals in dark places before killing them for food, think about it causing creatures to suffer in darkness or lose vision. But the truly miraculous part is the healing. Early 2049, her eyes just returned to normal. Completely. Wow. And this was attributed to her past merit. Specifically, lighting lamps to worship the triple gem, the Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha. That specific good deed combined with all her current good deeds, especially that sincere devotion through Dhamma TV. It really does raise an important question for all of us, I think, about the power of sincere faith, consistent merit-making, and how specific negative visual acts can lead to physical eye problems, but also how specific positive actions like offering light can directly counter that.
That's a powerful connection indeed. Okay, shifting gears again. Sister number 4. Her story presents a different set of lessons. Equally poignant, though. Described as beautiful. Lots of admirers. She runs off with a man from Kellis and has a daughter, comes back later. Then in 2037, she goes off to work in Singapore. But she leaves her 10-year-old son behind.
Leaving a child.
Yeah. And the husband, he also worked abroad for 2 years, sent money apparently, but didn't visit. What sort of karmic threads are being woven here with these choices, these separations?
Well, this leads us into a really tragic event involving her second son. When he was 12, he started frequently feeling very hot, kept wanting to soak in water, but his mother, sister #4, apparently just ignored him, even scolded him pretty harshly, told him, die if you want to.
Oh, no.
Yeah. And then he collapsed. He was hospitalized and died just a week later. Dengue fever and lung hemorrhage. And that specific kind of suffering, the intense heat, the lung issues, is attributed directly to karma from a past life. Specifically, putting live fish into hot pots or maybe grilling live animals alive.
The heat and the breathing.
Exactly. It's a precise karmic echo, reflecting the specific type of pain and suffocation inflicted in the past. It really teaches us how the suffering we cause others can show up in incredibly specific ways in our own lives, or, well, in the lives of those close to us.
God, the aftermath sounds just devastating for the family. The husband's grief was immense. Cried more for his son than his own father, apparently. And he just furiously blamed his wife for not caring for the boy. This led him down a bad path, drinking, fighting, infidelity, and eventually divorce. How do the karmic principles explain that kind of rapid, destructive breakdown of a marriage?
It's not just about one person's actions here. It really shows how the interplay works. The interplay between specific karmic debts and these intense emotional reactions in the present. They can unravel relationships incredibly quickly. So the sources explain the marital breakdown partly by their limited shared merit from past lives. Their connection maybe lacked a strong karmic foundation. And then the husband's intense anger over the son's death. That became a powerful current karma, a really destructive force pushing them apart. Plus, it's noted the sister's negligence towards her child created its own negative karma, and if she shared in any killing karma from the past, she'd face similar results. It's a stark reminder, isn't it? Our relationships are also built on this foundation of shared merit. If that's weak, intense negative feelings can just shatter it.
Right. It takes more than just current feelings to hold things together sometimes.
Yeah.
Okay, let's turn to the daughter of this sister, the niece. Her early life was also really tough. Pneumonia at just 7 days old, then chronic asthma from 1 month old, made her frail, fussy child. What karmic patterns are underlying these respiratory issues starting so incredibly young?
These breathing problems, they're directly connected to specific past karma. The sources indicate that as a child in a past life, she tormented cats, specifically by bathing them or dipping them in water, causing them a lot of suffering, distress related to breathing, getting cold. So it's a pretty clear example of that principle. Actions causing suffering related to breathing or feeling overwhelmed can manifest as chronic respiratory problems later, a striking parallel.
Definitely. She also developed this unique spiritual practice around age 15, chanting the China Ban Corn mantra that's a revered protective chant, right?
Yes, highly revered.
She chanted it 100 times every night. But it had this really strange side effect. When she was falling asleep, she would shake like an electric shock for 5, maybe 10 minutes. It stopped when she stopped chanting around age 20, but apparently it still happens sometimes. What's the karmic read on that? Shaking like an electric shock?
Yeah, that's unusual. It's attributed to karma from a past life where she basically pretended to be a medium, just for fun, maybe for attention.
Yeah.
But with no actual spirit possession happening, it was deceitful. So the shaking was a consequence of that deceit. A kind of karmic echo of false spiritual activity. The fact that it eventually stopped suggests that specific karma just ran its course, paid its dues, so to speak. It's a very particular manifestation, isn't it? Shows how even playful deceit, especially in spiritual matters, can have these precise, though maybe temporary, physical results.
And there was another strange affliction, too. At 8 years old, an insect hits her right cheek, just flies into her. The very next morning, she feels this painful burning sensation like a knife cut on that exact spot.
Yeah.
And this agony lasted for 8 years. Doctors couldn't figure it out, couldn't cure it. It sounds incredibly specific and persistent.
It is. And the karmic root is, again, quite fascinatingly specific. In a past life, she got into an argument with a friend, and she actually hit their cheek with a ruler.
With a ruler? Ouch.
Yeah, caused physical pain. But she also added harsh words that made the friend feel really embarrassed and hurt. Now, the pain eventually healing after 8 years in this life. That's because, in that same past life, she later apologized and reconciled with that friend.
So the apology mattered, even back then.
Immensely. It shows the completion of that karmic cycle. The apology set the stage for the suffering to end, but only after the debt was, well, paid through experiencing similar pain in this life. It highlights the incredible detail in these karmic records, doesn't it? Down to a specific body part, and how resolution in one life can dictate the endpoint of suffering in another.
Amazing detail. Now, throughout her life, she also had this strong pull towards fortune-telling. Studied different methods since she was a kid, even made some money from it. So this seems like a talent, not an affliction.
Right, exactly. And this natural aptitude is explained as a karmic influence. Apparently, she'd been born into a Withayathon lineage for many lifetimes. Withayathon are sort of spiritual beings associated with knowledge, magic, that kind of thing. And her lineage specialized in divination.
Ah, so it was like an inherited skill, karmically speaking.
Pretty much. An ingrained talent. A karmic inheritance showing up as a natural inclination and ability in this life. Karmic imprints really can show up as talents or inclinations, not just problems. It shows the diverse ways our past shapes our present.
Okay, so her life takes this really dramatic turn in 2042. She graduates college, becomes a temple official, and miraculously, all her chronic illnesses, the asthma, that cheek pain, the fevers, even the electric shock, shaking, they just disappear, completely gone. That's a huge transformation.
It really is, and it highlights the immense power of dedicated merit-making, turning towards the Dhamma in a serious way. See, her merit-making in previous lives was described as irregular, kind of according to her mood.
Inconsistent.
Yeah. Which usually means maybe not immediately securing a high spiritual realm like Dusit Puri after death. However, her encountering the Dhamma at all in this life, that was due to some old merit pulling her back. A reminder that past good deeds are never totally lost. But it was her sincere, consistent merit-making as a temple official in this life that became the catalyst. The thing that allowed all those old karmic debts related to her health to finally resolve, to run their course. It really underscores why consistent, sincere merit-making is just so incredibly important for long-term progress. It has the power to overcome and resolve past negative stuff.
A powerful example of turning things around. Now let's shift the focus directly to you, our listener. Because your own journey, as described in these sources, is woven right into this family's story. The sources talk about a challenging childhood for you, feeling inferior, feeling unloved, parents constantly scolding you, calling you lazy, saying you didn't help your siblings. And this detail, by the way, is confirmed as true in the source material. So what karmic seeds led to such a painful childhood experience?
The roots for those feelings, those experiences, are laid out quite clearly and precisely. In a past life, as a child yourself, you apparently scolded your elderly parents, treated them poorly, almost like servants.
Wow.
Then later, as a mother in another life, you spoke harshly to your children. And additionally, past stinginess, making very few donations, not being generous, also contributed to a life of hardship and difficulty this time around. It demonstrates how causing emotional pain, disrespect, especially to parents, and a lack of generosity, how that can manifest as feeling unloved, inferior, and facing hardship yourself.
Okay, so at 13, your parents sent you to live with an aunt. The stated reason was to reform your character. And there you were forced into really hard labor, carrying over 10 pots of water daily, cooking, washing, looking after your aunt's kids, and you weren't allowed to study. Sounds like servitude.
And that forced servitude, yes, it's directly connected to that past karma. Treating your own elderly parents like servants, not caring for them, not honoring them. It's a very precise karmic repayment, isn't it? A direct mirroring of the disrespect and burden you placed on your elders previously. These kinds of specific patterns, cause and effect, they're really a hallmark of how karma is described as working.
But then something shifts, an unexpected kindness. Later, your aunt sends you to work as a domestic helper for another family, and your diligence gets noticed. Your employer pitied you and, remarkably, sponsored your education up to 7th grade. Amidst all that difficulty, where did that help come from?
That moment of compassion, that opportunity, it was due to your past merit. Specifically merit from supporting the education of your own children and relatives in a past life. It shows how even, maybe smaller acts of goodness from the past, especially helping others learn or grow, can pop up as unexpected help when things are really tough. It's proof, really, that good deeds, no matter how old, are never truly lost. They can ripen when you need them.
That's hopeful.
Yeah.
But your romantic life, according to the sources, was also exceptionally difficult. At 17, you were forced to marry a rich man who already had a wife. You became a reluctant minor wife. Then, just 3 months pregnant, your aunt forced you to have an abortion without your husband even knowing. This led to a furious separation when you were only 18. Just a devastating sequence of events.
Truly devastating. And this situation is explained as karma from a past life where you were a promiscuous man with multiple wives. And also, very specifically, you had forced your own children or relatives to have abortions.
The connection is so direct.
Undeniably direct. A really poignant link between causing distress in relationships and ending potential life in the past, and then experiencing similar trauma, loss, and lack of agency in the present. It really illustrates the profound impact of actions around relationships and, well, the sanctity of life.
So after that, you ran away to Bangkok. Met your second husband at 19. You lived together, but you couldn't conceive, even though he really wanted children.
Yep.
He eventually took a minor wife himself, had a child with her, and then even introduced them to you, asked if you could all live together.
Wow.
Yeah. You were, understandably, heartbroken and eventually left him. It just seems these difficult relationship patterns kept repeating.
They did. And again, it echoes that same core karma, being a promiscuous man with multiple wives in a past life. That kind of past action often leads to difficulties in sustaining stable, monogamous relationships in the future, and can also manifest as challenges with fertility or childlessness. The source material often emphasizes how these patterns repeat until the underlying karma is really addressed, purified through merit and understanding.
Okay, so then, at 27, you meet your third husband, a soldier. He knew about your past, but apparently didn't care. Wanted to marry you, said he loved you very much, and although you didn't have children together either, he's described as a good man who helped you with everything.
Yeah.
And together you adopted your younger brother's daughter, that's the niece we talked about earlier, who you both love dearly. This sounds like a definite positive shift.
It absolutely is, and it demonstrates the influence of, well, new merit being made, but also past positive connections ripening, the good husband. That's attributed to past merit from helping relatives, and also some merit with the Sangha, the monastic community. Even if that past merit was inconsistent, it still bore fruit here.
Yeah.
And the deep connection with the adopted niece, that's because you were actually relatives in past lives who had supported each other. Plus, your strong desire for a child in this life acted like a magnet, strengthening that bond, allowing that old positive connection to manifest again. It shows how even while old negative patterns might still be playing out in some areas, like childlessness, new merit, and existing positive bonds can bring real relief, love, and support into your life.
And here's where it gets really interesting, as you said earlier, 2047. A profound transformation for you. You initially resisted, but finally installed Dhamma TV. And that led to this huge wave of merit-making, creating 7 Buddha images for yourself, for relatives, donating towards 300,000 Buddha images, contributing to building projects, a meditation hall, a dining hall, and consistently attending Dhamma practice every single Sunday. That's an incredible level of dedication. What does this intense, consistent merit-making mean now for your karmic path, your future?
This intensive merit-making now is, well, it's absolutely crucial. Game-changing, really.
Yeah.
Remember, your past merit with the Sangha was described as inconsistent. That led to this pattern of sometimes encountering the Dhamma in lives, sometimes not. But your dedicated practice now, accumulating merit in basically all possible ways: generosity, virtue, meditation, reverence. This is described as the definitive path to securing your future connection with the Dhamma, ensuring you don't lose it again. And significantly for you, your husband, and your adopted niece, that group with a strong positive connection to meet again in Dusapuri.
Dusitpuri heaven, a high heavenly realm.
Exactly. Often associated with future Buddhas, bodhisattvas, highly advanced spiritual beings, a place where spiritual practice continues at a high level. So this current consistent effort is incredibly powerful in shaping those future outcomes. Just underscores the immense power of present, consistent effort to overcome past inconsistencies, to purify negative karma, and to shape a genuinely bright spiritual future. It really emphasizes our agency, What we do now matters enormously.
So wrapping this up, what does this all mean for you listening right now? This deep dive, looking at this one family and especially your own journey within it, it's revealed this profound interconnectedness, hasn't it? How every choice, every word, every action, good or bad, it really does echo through time, shaping not just our own lives, but the relationships that bind us, the opportunities, the challenges we face.
Yeah, and if we zoom out to the bigger picture, this family story, including yours, is such a vivid illustration of karma's precision. How specific past actions often lead to specific, sometimes uncannily mirrored consequences in the present. But maybe even more importantly, it shows how powerful new merit is. Sincere practice, consistent acts of compassion, generosity. These things can genuinely cut through even long-standing negative patterns. It really underscores the practical importance day to day of cultivating kindness in our thoughts, too, not just actions. Speaking carefully, and just consistently finding ways to accumulate good deeds, big or small.
Indeed. Maybe a final thought to leave you with. Just consider how even something seemingly small, a simple act of kindness, or maybe a single harsh word, how that can ripple out through generations even, shaping not just our own life, but the lives of people connected to us, maybe people we haven't even met yet in this life, and the profound difference that consistent, sincere merit-making can make, altering even the most deeply ingrained patterns and genuinely paving the way for a brighter future, maybe even reunion in a place like Dusitpuri. Makes you think.